Morning guys and gals, Froggy here. This is an 04 IS300 Lexus, and there's a noise coming from the passenger side door, and I believe that is going to be the power door lock, and I'm going to take that door panel off and confirm it. First I want to show you the noise that happens. I'm going to put the key in and start it up. Now it's in park and I'm going to put it in drive, and you heard it right there. That's the noise every single time when I take it from park to drive. And of course there's, I believe, a setting for automatic door locking, and I think that's what's happening. Anyway, let's do it again. And so there you have the noise, and we'll take the panel off now. So Froggy has a video on the driver's side of how to take this door panel off, so I'm going to do a little shortcut thing here. Here's a little push pin thing, fastener. So you got to take your little sharp tool and get under the middle piece and pull it out, and then pull the whole thing out. And here is one Phillips head screw there. I already got it out. And here is one other Phillips head screw behind that little piece of plastic, kind of a door flap thing. And I've got that out. Okay, this is important and will save you a lot of time. On this piece here, the door pull, you don't want to pry in there. Come on, focus. Yeah, I don't seem to be getting a good focus. I want better. There, okay, there's a better focus. Let me put my headlamp off. Okay. You don't want to go in here over this bezel and press down on this, because that's just tightening things up. If you look over here, yeah, this is what has to get pressed down. That piece. Oh, I'm just having a heck of a time with the focus, sorry. So that's going to get pressed down. So you have to kind of get in between here, underneath here, but on top of that, and then it'll pop right out. Okay? Important. Otherwise you'll spend an hour and get nowhere, or you'll break something. Okay, for this panel, which has the door lock and window up down, just pry into the front here. It's real easy. It'll pop right up, and you have got two simple connectors. Take them off. Look up my other video if you need detail on how to take them off. Just pop off the speaker cover by hand. It's got a clip there and a couple of points where it locates. Mostly it's just that clip. Run the window up before you disconnect this if you have it down. This has to be connected for the window to go up and down. And also, if you don't have a strong battery, or if you want to just save your battery, just put a little battery charger, trickle charger on there, because you're going to have a lot of lights on with the doors open and such, courtesy lights and so on. I just, rather than try and figure out what to turn on, what to shut off and all that, I just throw a little trickle charger on there. Actually, that's not a trickle charger, that's a full charging battery device, but it'll keep the battery charged up. I like to start there, popping the panel off. Once you get it started, then you can use your hands. You don't really have to use a tool. And there'll be some loud pops as you pop each one of those fasteners. then when you get it off, there'll be one or maybe two more electrical connections. One for this light here, and I don't know, we'll see. So it was just one more connection for that light, and lift up and away, and it'll come right off pretty easy. Unscrew these two 10mm, and then you can take this plastic and soundproofing barrier off. Also this door pull, Phillips head. Okay, let's take these two access panels off, here and here. 10mm, I think. Yep, 10mm. So this is just a shot. The door lock actually works, but that noise is not something you want to hear, so I'm going to replace the actuator. There are some threads and videos maybe of taking that actuator out and just fixing the motor inside the actuator. I'm not going to do that, but if you are really in the weeds as far as do-it-yourself stuff, you can buy just the motor for about $10 and install it. There's some gears that probably don't come with the motor, so if the gears are stripped, I don't know, you want to go to a junkyard, get some gears maybe, but I'm just going to do the actuator. I'm going to order it. So this will be continued. Okay, back on the job. This is from Rock Auto. I think it was about $65. This is the right door lock module, Lexus IS300. Now, if you're saying, Froggy, you did that a couple of years ago. I did do that. I actually took this module apart, the original one, and I put a motor in it that I bought for like $10. The motor goes right in there. And it lasted a couple of years. Now, the motor still runs, but the gears are not meshing, so it's making that noise that I did for you at the beginning of the video. So if you're going to keep the car, or if you don't like taking these things apart, I showed you how to do it in the other video. Just buy the part for $65 and put it in there. It's a lot faster. Anyway, let's go. I reviewed that other video where I put the motor in here, and it turns out that the easiest way to get these things hooked up is to take the door handle off, or loose anyway. So that's what I'm going to do next. Door handle. Okay, so the part is going to go right in back of here, in back of this panel. So you got to work it from this side and over here. What I did first was I took off this 10mm bolt that holds the channel. There's the end of it, the channel for the window. So take that out. That'll give you a little room to move things around. Alright, looks like this is where we're going. So we got a screw there, a bolt there, and then these Torx, 3 Torx that hold the lock mechanism in there. I just loosened them up, and now you can see the whole thing is loose. So let me work a little more. Reach on the other side of this with some needle nose pliers. Squeeze those 2 ears and then pull it out this way. I use pliers like that. Take this screw out because these stiff cables are fighting you, or you're fighting them and holding this thing in place. So take this off. And the one last thing that's holding it in. So this rod right there that goes up to the door handle, my finger's pointing at it, that's the last thing that's holding this in place. So I think I'm going to take the door handle off to try and get that detached. So for the door handle, one there, put a little extension on there, like that. And the other one is through an access hole right there, which has got a little plastic plug on it. Right there, under that plastic plug. Once you get those two out, pull out on the handle here and then pull forward for the whole thing. And I need two hands now, it'll come out. So the whole thing now is hanging by this one shaft here. And to disconnect this, you see there's a little yellow plastic piece. You push this part of the plastic piece down there, you push it that way, and that unlocks the down rod, and then this just pulls out towards my finger that way. So here's a shot where I took and pried this. There you can see it's pried that way. It's like half undone. Then I'm going to do the rest and just pull the rod out. Yeah, I want to show you where that little yellow thing came through there. Froggy actually broke that metal piece just by prying on it, so be careful. I think I can get it back together okay because it's like a double locking thing. But there you go. I include the bloopers, so be careful on that. It's really a son of a gun to get it out of there. When you slide this out, take a look at this window glass channel that I told you to loosen up. The shaft goes on one side of it, and this other piece that I'm wiggling in my hand goes on the other side. So make sure you put one on each side of that when you put it back in. Now you can undo your electrical connection there. Press down where those little lines are. Press down on that and pull out. 3 brassy screws, 1, 2, 3, hold your part on there. I might have drilled that hole, so if you want to, drill the hole, or you can take this other piece off, and you will have to look at my other video to see how you take this other piece off. I'm not going to do it now. Actually, I'm taking this to the bench because it's going to be easier for me to work on it here. And I do think I have to take these other pieces off because there are mechanical connections that have to be made. 2 screws and 2 tabs. We'll get that off. Alright, so pay attention here. There's this tab, plastic tab goes through here, and then there's a small wire cable there, and you're going to have to twist this to get the small wire cable. You're going to take your new part, put it in here, twist it like sideways, whatever way you need to twist it to get this small wire cable here, then back to this tab here, and then put all the brassy screws back in. Remember, there's one that I drilled a hole for, I think. Okay, and there's your new part in there. I got this first. I took my needle nose and I grabbed the end of it. I got that in there first, and I got, come on, focus. I got the tab in there second. Now I got to put all my brassy screws back in, and I'm done with putting this new part on there. In the other video, I proceeded to take this apart and put an electric motor in there, but I'm not going to do that this time. Okay, there's the bad one. The good one's in. Don't get them mixed up because they look the same if you got the same brand. Alright, I'm going to put this back in. I'm not going to show you every single little step, but if there's something that's tricky, I'll show you. Okay? Once I have all the parts headed in the right direction, if you know what I mean, I like to catch one of these torques that hold the locking mechanism in, just to get things just to hold it in place. Now I think I'll go, I think I'll do this door pull just to get it out of the way, and then I'll go for the outside handle. Okay, there wasn't really anything that unusual to putting it back together. So I screwed it all up back together tight. Of course, I'm going to test it before I put the panel back on. Okay, so that works. Let's see if it makes that nasty noise when I put it in and out of gear. That's the automatic locking doors. Alright, so I'm in park, the engine's running, and the doors are unlocked, so I'm going to put it in reverse, and they lock, and I haven't got the noise anymore. So, I fixed it, but I broke a little bitty piece there. Now, hopefully that'll hang in there for a few tens of thousands of miles. If it doesn't, I could probably just get the door handle part and put that on, probably without having to take all this other stuff apart. I think I can just get, you know, those two bolts that hold the handle on the outside, and change the handle out if I need to. And the indication of that would be if the door doesn't actually lock when it looks like it's locking. So let's see, I'm just thinking out loud here. There's nothing electrical there, that's just mechanical. So, and the electrical part would still be working. I'm not really sure what would indicate to me if that little metal loop or hoop broke off, but I'll worry about that later. Anyway, give me a thumbs up or like, this helps you out. Subscribe to my channel if you want more from Froggy. And there we go. See you later. Froggy out. Bye-bye.